And what is up, you filthy animals? We're back. Now we can make a KVK video. I don't think I have any surprises going on tonight, but I guess that's the point of a surprise. So, KVK. Today's KVK was rather boring. Well, not today's, but this weekend's KVK. It was rather boring. Didn't have much go on. Had a few deals here and there, as you can see. Wasn't much kills. Was pretty boring. I was gonna try to make you guys some good content. This was probably one of the only few good hits that I had. And this was a guy that went for a tower and I sped in and hit him. So yeah, we'll go over that report here in a minute. But since I didn't really have any good content happen for KVK, I thought I would go over some of this stuff for you guys, since a lot of people on the Discord channel that I'm on, not the one that I've made yet, but just the regular, just Guns of Glory Discord channel, we're talking about, they didn't know much about KVK, so I thought I'd go over some points with you guys. So for Kingdom vs. Kingdom, let me get over here to the throne. So right here in the center of your map, you have the throne, surrounded by the forest, and this little timer right here where it says protected status right there, that's what the time is between each KVK. And if you haven't had KVK yet, you're going to be doing throne battles, and if you haven't even had those yet, throne battles are coming for you guys, so be ready for that. So like I said, so when this timer runs out, this bubble drops, and then you fill the castle up. So everybody goes in, they sends their troops in. Basically, people come in and they just, somebody brings in your big guy. So the big guy was DD. Death Dealer was our biggest guy, and he mega rallies or mega garrisons the main area, so that way nobody can take it. And then everybody fills it up, and when you mega garrison something, then everybody that is in there, so all of these people that were in there, take on Death Dealer stats. So everybody that was in there, all these guys, all took on his stats. So when you have a lot of troops in there with one guy's stats, it's a lot more effective. And then you have these guys come in and fill the towers too, and we don't. Not everybody puts a lot of troops into the towers. It just depends on what kind of kingdoms you're going up against. But so a lot of people come in and they fill the forest, and they just place their castles out here in the forest, and they bubble, so that way people that can invade you guys aren't as close. So when a kingdom versus kingdom happens, you can port anywhere in the kingdom. Anywhere. So if I was in Kingdom 53 where we invaded this time, we were able to port outside the forest. But the only downside of that is the only thing you can do is you can only do things inside the forest. You cannot gather tiles. You cannot run red guard grades in the other kingdom. You cannot do any of that. You can't even reinforce your allies outside the forest. They have to be in the forest to be reinforced. So anything that's in the forest is up for grabs in KVK. So if you are in the forest and you are trying to keep people away from the throne, so people have to use speed ups to get to the throne, make sure you're bubbled, because people will come in and they'll just take you out, so that way they can take your spot. As soon as you're hit in the dark forest, you are automatically force ported out of there. And that happens in KVK, out of KVK, no matter what. When you're hit in the dark forest, it gives you a message saying that your defenses were completely destroyed and you're moved somewhere and you're random out into your kingdom. Or if you're in somebody else's kingdom, you're random back to your kingdom. Something about KVK, it changed a while ago, was now you can only be in one building at a time. So let's say your big guy comes in here and he fills the fort right here, the main throne. He cannot be in the towers. So he can only be in one building at a time. And the benefit for that is that you can have your smaller guys come in and fill your towers, which involves a lot more people. It's not just a one-man show anymore. But also you want to hold your towers, because if somebody takes a tower, these towers with these cannons on top of the cannons will shoot the throne if it's got an opposing team in there. So say Kingdom 53 holds the towers, while Kingdom 15, myself and my other friends and buddies all hold the throne. The towers will shoot at the throne, and it will cause damage to troops inside. And I don't know if it's all permanent losses, but it's a lot of losses. So it's best to hold the towers and the throne, or at least keep the towers clear. So that was what I was doing in Kingdom 53. Is I was over here in Kingdom 53, obviously not here, and I was just in this area, just clearing the towers as I went. So that way nobody was having any towers shoot the throne, where a couple of the guys that came over with me that invaded with held the throne while I cleared towers. So that's just a few tips for KVK. Obviously, when you go over to another kingdom, you're going to be experiencing all of their guys over there. So you probably don't want to be a small guy going over there. You can make sure that you have reinforcements, or you bubble and you send your reinforcements to someone else. Just some things to keep in mind. A lot of guys go out now and they have their smaller guys unbubbled, or they have one big guy in the throne, and that one big guy sends all 4 other marches over to 4 other guys to do the towers. So those are things to keep in mind. And I saw it on the Discord channel. Somebody asked, can you be in the throne or the towers and still attack other castles? And the answer to that is yes, you can. I actually have video proof of that, but I can't edit it together very easy, so we'll just not worry about that right now. But yes, if you are in a tower or a throne, you are able to attack other people while you're in there. You just can't attack 2 of these buildings at the same time. And a scout does count as a march towards it. If you already have a march in the throne, you can scout the towers, but if you have a scout going to the towers, you can't send a march to the throne. I don't understand why, but that's just a fun plus for you. So those are some good tips for guns of for the Kingdom vs. Kingdom stuff. So here's one of the good reports that I had. Scroll down. Right there. So this guy went to the tower. I beat him there. As you guys can see, the spearman took the most damage, as per usual, that I talk about in my troop formation stuff. I just sent formation without any artillery because he didn't have. It's just attacking a tower, so there wasn't any reason to have artillery sent, and it just slows down the march. And in the dark forest, that area surrounding the throne, everything is slowed down very much so. So a 2-minute march would get turned into a 5-minute march. So just so you guys know, when you're attacking towers and thrones, I would recommend a troop formation that doesn't have artillery. So this guy took a lot of losses to his infantry. Some of them were wounded, but as you can see, the progression. So the most wounded were his top tiers, and then it just slowly goes down. So that also just shows how much of the troops that he sent of each kind. But this guy sent more of his T8 infantry and less of his T9. So yeah. And this guy did send artillery, so it did take him a very long time to get there. And like I said, look at this. His kills for his artillery, they're very small. He did get some kills with his artillery, so I say that artillery is only good for traps, but in comparison, where like his T9 distance got that many kills right there, and his T8 distance got that many kills, his artillery didn't get very much at all. Even his infantry, for the most part, got more kills than his artillery did. So that's just something to keep in mind. And also, if you look at this, his T8 distance got more kills than his T9 distance. So that's something that you guys, that's why I always say to look at this stuff. Look at your battle reports, see what stuff's doing more damage, and adjust your troop formations and go with that. So those are just some things to look at. So just some things to keep in mind on the battle details. So let's see here. What else can we talk about for KVK? As you can see, there's just a lot of small kills. A lot of the time when you're over there, people are. Thank you, Facebook, for interrupting my video. You can see that a lot of these guys were doing rallies and saying, attack this, attack that. and they scout you a lot. This was actually pretty embarrassing for me. I only had, which I guess it's not really embarrassing, but I had, let's look here, for about 13,000 troops in there. And this guy sent a full march at it. And what I was going to do is right before his march got there, I was going to port beside the tower and automatically recall my troops that are out and then attack the tower he was in. But I did not do it in time. My phone freezed up, so I ended up losing this one, which that's a pretty easy loss for me because he sent 138,000 troops at my 14,000 troops, and I still lost less than he did, but obviously that's just because of stats and all of that. But normally you should be able to blow somebody out with that few troops in somewhere like that. So those are some tips for KVK. If you haven't gotten to KVK yet, you're gonna have throwing battles. Throwing battles, basically everybody in your kingdom's gonna fight instead of having other kingdoms be brought into it. So you're gonna have a bunch of kingdoms fighting for it, and for KVK, and for your throwing battles, your kingdom and all the alliances in your kingdom. Let's see here. Your alliances in your kingdom are all going to be fighting for it, for the throne. And those people are going to be fighting to see who can be king. So that way, the king can decide what happens in the kingdom. He can go into here, the Great Hall, and he can use these black market coins for gold. He can use rapid training, which is a one-time use, force teleport people, use attack bands, use eagle eye to find people. Another thing the king has is he gets to give out titles, and they all have certain buffs. So these are all things that the king gets to do after KVK and after throne battles, and he can also give out these royal packages. So these royal packages, 2 of them come with these orange gear designs, purple designs, and then blue designs. And those are just a few things that the king's benefits are. The king's buffs, I believe, I'll just go over to the king. I'll show you guys. The king's buffs for wearing the crown, he gets these for buffs. So these are things that he gets added to his stats for being king. So those are some pluses to being king. Other than that, to give somebody a title or wrong button again. To give somebody a title or a royal package, you just go over to their castle, go to their profile, and then as a king, you'll be able to send them a title or a royal package. Another thing that the king can do is he can take people that he does not like, which I think we actually have one right now, and give them a negative title. So these titles are basically the opposite, negatives. So he can put these on people that he doesn't like, and that way they're not as able to build up fast. They have slower troop marches, research speed, healing costs, whole 9 yards. So as you guys can see, the king does have a decent amount of things that he can do to up and down to benefit himself. If you conquer another kingdom, you also get taxes from the other kingdom. So those are just things to look for. If you haven't done KVK yet, those are things to look forward to. If you haven't done throne battles, something to look forward to. Obviously, the strongest player is going to win. Throne battles, you use pretty much the same strategy as KVK. You take your strongest guys and you hold the tower and the throne. And something that I didn't mention before is when you take the throne and you hold the throne, if somebody else hits the throne hard enough that it is a defeat, the troops that are in there will either all die or it's big enough that it's just going to move the rest of the wounded troops and the surviving troops out, and then it'll reset this timer right here. Where it says protected status, there's an 8-hour timer. And each time that somebody takes a throne from somebody else, the timer is reset. So those are things to look at. So KVK can go from anywhere between 8 hours to actually it can go all 2 weeks. We had a guy come in here, Kingdom 31, I believe. His name was General Kane, and he came in here and we had KVK go on for 2 weeks straight at one point, and it was pretty long and drawn out and kind of sucked, but that's just so you guys know, KVK can last as long as 2 weeks. So the 2 weeks between each KVK. So those are things to look forward to for KVK if you haven't done it yet. Yeah. And if there's any other information that I can give you guys, this is just KVK video. Hopefully soon we're getting new kingdoms. Every kingdom resets kingdoms every 3 KVKs. So right here it shows when your KVK is, which kingdoms you're going to be fighting. And if you're getting new kingdoms where it says kingdom changes, you don't get to see the new kingdoms you're going to get until the morning of. So those are things to look at. So this KVK, we only went over and conquered Kingdom 53. But like I said, they kind of rolled over and they didn't fight very much. So we just kind of took it over. And when your kingdom's conquered, you don't have a name on your throne. Everything's vacant. So, and then your supreme palace is owned by us right now. So some things to look out for. If you like today's video, please like, subscribe. I am on Discord now. I'm on the Guns of Glory channel, and I'm also going to be making my own. I'm talking to other YouTubers, like I said, to make one for everybody to get on. I'm going to have it set up though, so if other YouTubers want to get on it and help me along with it, they can. And if you just want to get on and see what it's all about, feel free to do that as well. Also follow my Facebook and Twitter. If you like today's video, like and subscribe, and have a good night, everybody.